Hi, everyone. I'm ANDREA TIMPANO, the editor of Boston Home, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all today to our event. In just a few short moments, I'll be revealing and you'll be hearing from Boston Home's 2021 Rising Star winners, all of whom have graciously agreed to join me for an enlightening conversation on the future of local design. So, as many of you know, last year, we introduced our Rising Star Awards, which are a series of industry choice honors with nominees selected by our editorial team and voted on by you, members of the Greater Boston design community. With categories for architects, interior designers, and builders, we hope to honor a new generation of local design talent and celebrate those firms which, despite being in business just a few short years, have already made significant contributions to the industry. The program was such a success that we brought it back this year, and it's my pleasure to announce the winners of the 2021 Rising Star Awards now. So for this first award in the category of Rising Star Architect, we looked for the visionaries, architects with a keen mastery of materials, space, and scale, and an understanding of how people live today. We nominated Patrick Reddick Architect, Mass Architect, and Red Barn Architecture. And today, I'm thrilled to present the award for Rising Star Architect to Nicholas PAOLUCCI, Principal of Mass Architect. So welcome, Nick.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. For the second award, we searched for blossoming interior designers, innovators who deftly balance form and function through furnishings, finishes, and color in every project they tackle. We nominated Beige and Blue Design Studio, Ray Oak Studio, and Meg McSherry Interiors. And this year, it's my great pleasure to present the award to Principal Meg McSherry of McSherry Interiors. Welcome, Meg.
Thank you, ANDREA. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations. Thank you. For our last award, we set our sights on the builders, the talented folks who effortlessly bring their clients' visions to life with a focus on detail and craftsmanship. For this, we nominated Harper Elm, Villalona Designs, and WALCZAK Design and Build. I'm so pleased to present the award to Derek and Lisa WALCZAK of WALCZAK Design and Build. So welcome, Derek and Lisa.
Thanks, ANDREA.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for being here. Congratulations, and really congratulations to all of you. Thanks so much for joining me. I'd love to kick things off today by just having you talk a little bit about how you first got started in design and made the leap to owning your own firms. So, Nick, we'll start with you.
So I'll take you back to 2005. I took a drafting class in high school, and my teacher recommended I apply to architecture school at Auburn University in Alabama, which I had never been to before. But went down there, loved it, went for 5 years. I graduated the year before Cam Newton, the year after he won the Heisman, so I missed that. And, yeah, the year before. And so I moved back to Rhode Island, where I'm from, and it was pretty hard getting a job in 2010. I called every firm in Rhode Island and Mass in alphabetical order till I got to W, and finally got a job at Westling Architects in Quincy.
Wow.
So, where it started. And I've been up in Boston ever since that.
Did you really call every firm in the phone book?
Yeah, I have no shame when it comes to that.
Wow.
If I need something, I'll do whatever it takes,
How long does something like that take?
I try not to think about it. I don't know. It was probably 6 months to find a job after school.
Wow. Amazing. Well, good for you. That shows a lot of determination.
Thanks.
How about you, Meg? What can you tell us about how you got started?
Yeah, so I went to undergrad and studied French and English because I just loved reading and writing, but didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So right after I graduated, I actually moved to New York City and had a job in retail. And within a few months, had a not even quarter life crisis because I wasn't even 25. But on a whim, I applied to only one program, which was at Parsons School of Design. It was an associate's program for interiors. I had zero background, like drew a picture on paper, didn't know how to draw to scale or anything, and I got in. So I quit my job. It was a full 2-year program. It was insane in terms of how demanding it was, and I was just like thrown into a ocean full of sharks. I had no idea what I was doing. But left with a degree, and that got me into working with different firms, starting in Connecticut and then in the Boston area until I opened up my own studio.
Love it. What about you, Derek and Lisa? I think you guys also sort of had a non-traditional route into design.
Yeah, definitely. I think I kind of dragged Lisa into this, luckily. But I actually grew up, in the trades, working as a laborer for a mason, general contractors. I was very much into art and building and drawing, and went to art school and ended up coming out of art school with a degree in kinesiology somehow. So I completely shifted into the science world, and went on to be a strength and conditioning coach. I was an exercise physiologist at a local hospital. But at the same time, I was doing a lot of building on the side, working for friends and guys that I knew, doing a lot of finished carpentry, and tons of stuff on our own house. People were coming to me to start taking on jobs on my own. And we had discussed me leaving and starting something. And I was about to start with a close friend, kind of hesitated. He went off, did something else. And then 6 months later, I was like, it's time. And Lisa joked, well, maybe you should do it. I should do it with you. And it like hit me in the face. I was like, wow, like, yes, you are the perfect person to do this with me. And she was like, do you really, we've been married for maybe a couple of years at the time, 5 years or something. She was like, and I was like, absolutely. So as the next morning, as Lisa does, I woke up and in my inbox was probably 5 pages of what we need to do, how we're going to do it, spreadsheets, what we're going to be, what we're not going to be. So it's worked out. It's been great.
Yeah, we were either on the fast track to divorce or something really bad. It worked out.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And Lisa, your background's in marketing, is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I didn't fully deep into really owning my side of the business until just this past October. So up until this point, I was working full time in, marketing technology consulting at some of the agencies downtown Boston. I think that really, truly set us up for being able to run the business the way we have, with just a real firm grasp on client-focused delivery, design thinking, being a facilitator and a guide. My background's in program management. So I kind of had all of that and was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this really different. I wanted to be disruptive. I wanted to be really focused on figuring out what the problems really are and then solving those problems. So took that leap finally this past October, last October, excuse me. And then we went fully into a pandemic. So, but here we are, right?
Here we are. That's amazing. And I want to touch back on something you just said in a little bit. But before I do that, I have another question that I want to throw your way, Derek and Lisa, which is, what can you tell me about Boston's design scene in general? Why is this a unique place to work? And why is it a community that you guys wanted to be a part of?
Well, I think, honestly, I didn't even really think about being part of the community when I first got started. It took a while to kind of tap into that and a firm understanding of really what the whole design angle was. And my focus was on, and ours was on, really helping people figure out how to create accessible spaces that were beautiful and functional for their lives, figuring out what their problems were, because everybody walks into their home as the epicenter of their lives. And, how do we make that more special? And, as I started to go through those motions with Derek and some of our other team members, it all started to click, like, this is design thinking. This is the whole concept of true design, and it's the process behind it. So I think I had a slow ramp up to the appreciation of what we were doing and who we were doing it with. And as I started to reach out, I think one of the biggest things that came to the forefront was how accessible the design community is, how willing to collaborate, to offer insights, to teach me without really, looking down on me. Everyone that I've reached out to has been so forthcoming with information and partners and trades and the whole nine. It's just been amazing. There's a deep breadth and skill set in this community and huge amount of history that we've been able to tap into. And that has been so amazing to watch us really become a part of that and feel like we're finally in it a bit.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Derek?
No, I think Lisa kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The history, we were on the North Shore, the age of homes, you have first period homes, you have Victorian era homes, we have the coast, we're in Ipswich, so we have the ocean, we have farmhouses. So I think, this being in Boston, being in the North Shore, it gives us an opportunity to do many different things and always be working on different projects, whether it's additions or renovations. We're both pretty creative, so it's just bringing modern things into old stuff and creating new things. I think it's pretty unique and it's just great. We love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, chime in here. What can you tell me?
Yeah, I think I'm a big history guy, and the variety is just unreal in Boston, the variety of homes. I've been able to work on a beachfront house in Winthrop, a historic row house in the South End, and then a big kind of sprawling luxury style custom home out in Sudbury. So that kind of variety keeps it interesting, and I just love working on different homes and seeing the history behind the existing homes, and then trying to design my own new homes or additions that kind of tie in the culture and the character of the home itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Meg, what resonates with you with what people have said? What can you add?
I was going to say, everybody really highlighted what I was going to say, which is, I think as a designer, we have access to so many different types of homes here, whether there's, waterfront or beach or, different types of areas. That's exciting. And I think for me, so much of the work I do is in super old homes, and it's about how to take an older home and kind of like listen to the soul and the bones of that home, but let families live in it in a modern way. The way that we live now is very different than the way people used to live in those homes. So I think the diversity of types of homes and the scenes we have is what's great about working in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things about working in this area too, and I think this even as an editor, it's like your job here is not the same as what your job would be if you were working in California, for example. The legacy of design talent and just the history and like the innovation that is known to our area, what our area is known for, is just kind of unparalleled. And so to be part of this new generation of design talent is a really exciting thing. And one thing I do want to ask you guys is, what do you see your role being here? How do you want to contribute? How do you want to shape the way design moves forward in and around Boston? And Meg, we'll start with you.
So I feel like my approach to design is I really feel like I want people to live in every corner and space of their home. Whether you have a humongous house or a smaller space, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit when there's rooms that don't get used or kind of like saved for special events and occasions. So I feel like, my kind of goal is to encourage people to really think about how they want to live and spend time in their homes so that we can make that happen. The only other thing I would add is, I really like using local tradespeople, whether it's people who are making the furniture here, in our community. That's something that I'm trying to incorporate more and more into my designs.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Lisa and Derek?
I think I would like us to continue to be kind of agents of change and innovation, right? I think one of the things that we continually hear is this really poor perception of contractors and builders, right? And not to use a ridiculous word, but like protractor, right? Like there is a better way to do these things, and there's a real talent that can be tapped into the right way. I think the way we try to manage our process is to be really experiential from the very start, from the moment that you meet us until right through the warranty period. Everything is about the relationship and the experience and collaborating and co-creating. And I think there's a way that as we touch the lives of every one of our clients, we can elevate all of us involved in this craft. And I'd like to continue to do that by constantly tapping into technology, tapping into partners that are experts in their particular niche. I don't know everything, but I'm a good networker and I can create great teams. And that's amazing because when you get all those really great people in one room thinking about things, solving problems together, there's a way to just really make magic. So I want to continue to push the envelope and challenge everyone to just be better and innovate.
Yeah,
Love
no, I think
that.
the technology part too is something that Lisa's brought, for me and the guys. We can share with the homeowners and that they can send something to the app, question they may have, and me, my team, our team gets it, and the guys can add their input, or whether it's the electrician or the plumber. At the end of the day, we have one guy that takes pictures of everything, and then it goes in the app, and the homeowners see that. I think it helps build that relationship, and that's something that, like, me alone, if I just was a contractor, I couldn't do. But Lisa's brought that in. Other people that we've talked to have shared these things, and I think it's really helped.
Yeah. And speaking of technology, I noticed that you guys recently introduced virtual design services.
Yeah, we, obviously brought on by the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we had, before it wasn't as formal, and now it's a little bit more formalized. And we've had a lot of, interest in that, and just conversations around from potential clients, like how to gather stuff without stepping foot in the home, right? And luckily, with my background, I haven't had a problem really doing that. It's been kind of easy for me, but I think that's going to continue to be able to make our services more accessible, and also be able to have a broader reach, because I don't have to just do work in the Boston area. I can be working with people in DC. I have friends in Texas, California, New York, wherever, because we're able to use technology to bridge that distance.
Yeah, for sure. Nick, I'll turn it over to you. What is your role? What would you like to see? How can you shape what's going on?
I'd actually like to make architects come off as less overpriced, less not on time. I think we have kind of a bad rep for being overpriced or taking too long to do things. And I try to answer my phone, return emails the day of, and really work within people's budgets and their timeline. And I try to be on top of everything to where it's almost overkill. I almost go too fast. But yeah, I just want to kind of change that rep and be more accommodating to the homeowners, to the developers that need my services, and just do things more efficiently that would help the whole process. And I'm a big believer in the design build process, to where I work directly with the builder and we work together as a team, as opposed to kind of two separate parties that don't get along. I try to play nice and give people what they want, and it's usually a good turnout.
One thing I read, I think it was on your website, that kind of intrigued me, is that you like to design specifically for your client, as opposed to designing what you think that client needs or what you think they want. You're really focused on listening to exactly their desires and delivering that. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, I've come to realize that there's a lot of other architects that are a little too about their own design and pushing their own agenda. I mean, I'm a younger guy. I work for a lot of homeowners that are older than me and think they know more than me. And I kind of try to give them a little bit, but also try to teach them a little bit. And I mean, I offer multiple options with every new addition, new design I do. and it's just a matter of communication and having everybody be happy at the end of the day. And I think listening is a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to see that you want to see more of that going forward, which sort of brings me to my next question, which is, let's talk about the future of design in Boston. What are you guys seeing? And more importantly, what would you like to see going forward, let's say in the next 10 years from Boston? And Nick, I'll let you kick this one off too.
The future of design, I would say probably more energy efficient, net zero type housing, to where their houses are producing energy to support their needs, and we're not using extravagant amounts of fuel and outside energy use. So now that people are kind of home more and working from home, I think it'll probably hit them more in their bank account when their bills come in. So they start thinking about it more, and we start doing something about it. I mean, all the buildings we're constructing have an effect on the environment, and people just need to kind of open their eyes and realize that and actually care. So I hope to see that happen soon.
Yeah. Meg.
Yeah, I think, similar to what Nick just said, I really think part of my job is to educate my clients. I talk a lot up front about you get what you pay for, and how oftentimes the more you spend on something, the better quality it is, the longer it will last. And I think for me, I would love the future of all design, but in this area specifically, I would love people to see making purchases for their home that are going to last a very, very long time, like the lifetime of them being there, and getting rid of kind of the like big trends that come and go, and feeling the need to like be on top of them and to kind of buy kind of not great quality stuff that's being shipped from, all over the place. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the environment, right? And just seeing value in spending money on pieces that are made by like humans who are skilled artisans, and taking the time to like make decisions that you will live with for decades.
Absolutely. Lisa and Derek, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think Nicholas and Meg both just nailed it. From our point of view, it's building things that are, as you said, good for the environment, less waste on job sites, different framing techniques. The codes are even updated now to let us use less lumber, different headers and walls. But in like Meg said, giving them things that will last in their quality, and not just like what they see on TV, or I want this because it was there and I want to spend my budget on that. We try to, and Lisa does a really good job at this, let me say what it's going to take for that house to perform for a long time, or the addition of whatever we're doing, the bathroom we're putting in, it's going to last, it's going to perform well, but also we can give them a little taste of what they want, what they see, and stay within their budget. But I also think something else is really important to the craftsmanship point is I like to see more younger people get involved. I think me as a GC, we have a hard time finding skilled labor that we can trust, and people that are passionate and want to be in it. And I'd love to see some younger kids that are creative, talented, get involved in the trades, get involved, design or even carpentry, and kind of bring that to us and bring that to this industry.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would just add immediately, I mean, we all are very familiar with everybody being at home. And I think as we have seen with the rise of everybody being in the house, we're having much more need for like discrete, usable spaces. And Meg, you brought this up, like a reading nook or a place for privacy. We have a lot of open concept things and people are spending a lot of time in them, but you need these moments of breaks, of solitude to recharge, to decompress. And I think we're seeing that more too, where people are just looking for, they really want the master bedroom now. People, I mean, I can't tell you how many master bedroom remodels, additions for a room with my own bathroom, with like a chair. I need a chair, somewhere to sit, to be away. Every piece of the home is being used. And then people also want to be connected to the outdoors. So the outdoor is really, the indoors is really being brought outdoors because people are staying at home. So they want to be able to really use their yard, and it's become the epicenter of everything. So I think in the immediate future, we're going to see that continue, and people are really going to see the value in that as well too, because, you know, we're just there. That's where we are.
Yeah. So you guys, is this the end of open concept? What do you think? Meg, what do you think? I see you laughing.
I'm laughing because, I mean, I mostly work on older homes, right? So sometimes my clients at the beginning of a project, they're saying there's so many rooms, there's too many rooms. I want, you know, the kitchen open to the family room, open to the, we don't even need a dining room, all this stuff. And with older homes, that doesn't work as easily, right? I mean, you're talking to somebody who lives in like a 1920s center entrance colonial. So I am not like open space. I'm having doors that close. I think, I don't know the answer. I think open concept means like you see your family all the time and you don't get to hide. So perhaps the argument is that we do, like Lisa said, want some more closed spaces. It doesn't mean that there shouldn't be like the epicenter of the home where everyone has space together. Like we should be able to cook and like talk to people.
Sure.
I'm curious what everyone else thinks about that.
Nick, do you want to jump in?
I think majority of my projects that are renovations are converting those colonials to open concept. So I mean, I don't see it happening anytime soon unless they start a new show on HGTV and everybody changes their mind. I don't know. I do like the open concept, but I think it's going to run its course probably, whenever society likes it on Instagram or something like that changes. I don't know.
That's for sure. It is sort of interesting to see how people are rethinking spaces that used to make so much sense that now are like, maybe this doesn't function quite the way I thought it would or how I wanted it to. And that really opens the door to my next question, which is, you know, we've touched on it several times already. Obviously, the pandemic is something that is very much affecting our present and will continue to affect us in the future. And I'm wondering how you guys, in addition to more personal spaces, what other areas do you see really spawning from this area? What is residential design going to look like? Will it change in terms of what people are asking you for, or perhaps how you'll work with your clients? Lisa and Derek, I'll have you guys start first.
I do think one of the really big things that keeps jumping out, especially when we start to look at some of our renovations for kitchens, and is really storage, but like functional storage, because people are buying. So this seems super practical, like a really practical need, but more as people are ordering all this stuff, where does it go for the month?
Exactly.
79 rolls of toilet paper, and it needs to go somewhere. And so you used to have this stuff in the basement or maybe stuck on a shelf, but now it's more, functional storage for sure. So that's definitely been a kind of a little thing that's been coming up. But, as I mentioned, like just the rise of the kind of the discrete spaces to get away and pulling the inside the home outdoors to make a continuation of kind of your home footprint.
Meg, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was thinking as Lisa was speaking, so I have a lot of kitchen projects right now, but I also have a lot of decorating projects right now. And for the decorating, I feel like my clients, I'm going to knock on wood, are actually willing to spend more on like wallpaper and fabrics and rugs, because they're just like, I want it to be comfortable. I want this chair to be comfortable. I want the fabric to be soft. Or lighting, like I want better lighting. I feel like my clients are willing to invest more in their homes because they're staring at the walls, and they're finally, I think, appreciating the next level that home could be for them. And that home right now is like, it's school, it's office, it's cooking, but it's also kind of like mental health and comfort. And I think a lot of people haven't had to think that way before. Like, I think all of us on this panel, that's all we think about. Like, we want our clients to be comfortable and live well and thrive. I just think now the homeowner is realizing that.
Right. Nick, do you have anything to chime in with?
Yeah, so I have a lot of projects that are just finished basements, which aren't the funnest jobs, but I mean, people need that extra space being at home now, and they're converting their basements to game rooms or gyms a lot, and sometimes in-law suites are down there. And yeah, I think homes are just going to get bigger and bigger now that people are home more and want to do everything at home. They don't want to drive to the gym. They don't want to have their in-laws in another house down the street. They want them in their basement. Sometimes they don't, but if they have to, a lot of people are finishing their basement in addition to the open concept. So I don't see those things really going away anytime soon.
Yeah. The things that we're hearing a lot about on our end of things are basements, mudrooms like you wouldn't believe. Everybody's redoing their bathroom, and like Lisa said, everyone's redoing their bedroom. Are there other areas that you guys are seeing spike in popularity right now?
Home office. A home office. I feel like a lot of people had, you know, little spaces in their homes with like a desk and a chair and like piles of paper that they weren't really using, but now
Right.
to function and look good and have good lighting, I'm getting a lot of home office requests.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've had some exterior space, like converting sheds into home offices, and
Right.
we actually just finished it was a small barn turned into an office/yoga studio. So definitely the offices and basements. We're getting a lot of attics. We don't do a ton of decks, but beginning of summer, it was like everyone wanted a deck done.
Yeah.
You know, to your guys' point, they want to get out away from everyone and get outside. So like, they're like, either come fix my deck or build me a deck.
Yeah. I think that the point is really everyone's using every square space they possibly can. I mean, people are like, what could do with this little corner? What could we do this thing to make, and they just want to take every space that they can get and make it functional for some purpose other than just leaving it there, you know, with a pretty vase or something. Like, I feel like all those little sitting rooms are kind of just going away, which I'm okay with. I had a lot of great aunts and aunts that have plastic on things, and I'm like, I don't really understand this. I still don't understand it, but they're going away.
I love that. And it's funny, it does sound like homes are sort of poised to become bigger. It seems that people are looking to expand rather than contract, which is sort of different from the trend we've been seeing in recent years where people are thinking about smaller, more compact living. Of course, there was the huge rush on tiny homes and things like that. I do wonder how sort of the environment in which we're living now is going to change that trend. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've had.
Nick, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're gonna have a better answer. You're an architect.
I'm not that smart. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of potential clients try to finish their attic where they have a stair that's about 18 inches wide and think they can put a master suite up there. So I mean, attic spaces aren't much. They're not livable spaces. They weren't designed that way.
Right.
But a lot of people are trying to turn them into things they shouldn't be. I've done kind of bathrooms up in attics, but yeah, everybody's going to use every square inch. We're in Boston where real estate's expensive, and I don't know, it's only going up. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I saw Lisa and Derek, you laughing and nodding your heads.
Yeah, we've seen some things. I've been
Yeah.
asked And we have to be tactful in our responses. Sometimes when I'm like, what? You want to do what, where? Okay. But yeah.
Usually we just say, well, we're gonna have to get an architect in here.
Yes, exactly.
Just like,
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yes. You can tell them no.
I usually say it's going to cost way too much. You should talk to a GC. They'll give you some rough numbers and
Yeah, no, it's
put
true.
it back on you guys.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's another, thing too we're finding is, and you brought up the cost of home real estate and buying new or versus, converting, or throwing on additions and, building in this area is expensive. Doing anything, whether it's just plumbing, electrical, design work, architecture, it all adds up and our costs are expensive and what's passed back. And I think there's people are finding a point where what is worth it. How far do we want to go and how big do we want to add on? Your point, everyone wants bigger spaces, but where's the sweet spot where it's going to outprice my house? The
Right.
value of the home, the value of the home in the neighborhood. So people are kind of thinking about that as well.
Yeah. And tapping into any equity they already have. I mean, we're seeing a ton of additions right now because there really isn't any way to move to.
Yeah.
The market's crazy. So people are looking at their house and going, all right, how can we really make this work? And then it's the balancing act of, the give and take. Like, what do I need versus what do I want? What raises the value, which puts us in debt. Like figuring that out and then leveraging their team and the people that they hired to help them figure out that puzzle.
Yeah. Meg, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to say, when we talk about, are we going to do bigger homes? And I think Derek said something about when you go too big, are you not going to get the value when you sell and all that? I would say to any homeowner or potential client, that is why hiring a good architect, designer, contractor, builder is so important, because I do not think bigger is always better. I think everyone on this screen, our job is to make things efficient. I think that is it's the whole function. I don't think we need these huge houses in order to get the best type of functionality. I think it takes creativity and it takes thoughtfulness and time. So I get scared sometimes thinking we've seen all of us have seen really bad big homes.
Oh, yeah.
Just bad. And it's not always the solution. So my hope for the world is let's think twice before we're let's just quadruple where we live. We can be smarter than that sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think too, eventually everyone's getting back out in the world, hopefully, right? So we're all living on top of our own family, each other in the house. What's going to happen when we all go back out? We have these huge houses or huge additions? Are we now going to want the tiny home? Is it going to start missing everybody, or it's going to come back in some direction eventually, right? Yeah, to your point, we trying to reel people in and get them to realize what they already have there and what they can use in that space.
Yeah.
Don't shop when emotional, right? Don't go shopping when you're emotional.
hungry.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. That is great advice. So another thing that I've been thinking about during this call is something, Derek, actually you mentioned earlier, which is that you would like to see more young people getting involved in the trades and pursuing careers in design. And I do wonder, with this new emphasis put on homes and just the time and attention people are paying to investing in their homes at this point, if that will sort of spawn a new generation who's interested in doing that kind of work. And I'm wondering, as you guys are rising stars, did you have people mentor you? Who helped you in the community? And what is it that you think you can give back in that way? And Meg, I'll have you take this one first.
I love that question. I worked at different firms before I launched my own business. So I feel like at each firm that I worked at, there were definitely people in each office that totally mentored me. I also am not afraid to introduce myself to people. So I have, just through the powers of Instagram, found other designers who are further along in their business and am just hi, what do you think of this? Or who do you do for that? Or how do you do this? And I'm not afraid to ask. So I think that's another route to find a mentor. And I've been trying to do the same thing, you know, for those who are younger than me. So I think it's super important that like people younger than us have the interest and find like the right way to do it. There's so many ways to be in this industry. You know, some of us went to school for it, some of us didn't, and neither is right or wrong. I think finding the experts, like Lisa, you said, like, we're not experts at every single part of our job. There's tradespeople who are there to tell us and teach us. So yeah, I think mentoring is great. I would encourage any young person to like just reach out, like cold call and email like Nick did when he was looking for a job, and find people, because we all want to pay it forward, I would think, you know?
Right. Nick, do you want to chime in?
Yeah. So, I mean, I actually worked for an architect who started his own business and hired me as his draftsman. So I got to work right underneath him, go to all the meetings, do all the drafting for 3 years, and he helped pay for my exams. I got licensed, so he was definitely a big help in me kind of making that jump. Because once I got licensed, I was like, oh, I can do all this on my own, huh? And I thought it'd kind of just be a side gig, and it just kind of morphed into what it is now, which is nice. But yeah, I would say just young architects get licensed as soon as possible. Try to work close with another architect and see if you can do it out on your own. It's not as hard as you think. You have to hire other people like accountants and sometimes lawyers and 3D renderers. So don't try to do it all yourself, but there are definitely people out there who can help you. And I found that the Boston design community itself is pretty close knit to where you'll meet one person and they'll know this person that you know, and it's not as big and scary as you think. So, I mean, I still cold call contractors and send postcards and emails trying to work with new people all the time. So Lisa and Derek probably have gotten some of my stuff.
We have.
Lisa and Derek, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely had contact. I still call all the time. You know, guys that I lean on, and now they call me too for stuff, which is always cool. But yeah, I mean, I think anything you do in life, you want a mentor or people you can lean on. And for what we, you know, everybody here, what we do, this industry can be humbling really fast. You think you know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden, I mean, you come across something, and it may not even just be like for us in the build. It could be on the business side. It could be on, you know, the legal side. It could be, you know, dealing with codes or dealing with zoning or whatever it may be. So to have people you can lean on, you can call, I think is huge. And I know I have, even outside of the building aspect, and I know Lisa has on her, you know, gone off on her own. Hey, you know, guess who I talked to today? Blah, blah, blah. And anything we need, he said, give him a call. And I think that's fantastic. And I spent a lot of time before this coaching in the kind of in the coaching world, and we love to bring on people that have no experience in the trades that are just eager and want to learn. We have a guy, you know, a kid who's been with us for 5 years. He was the first he came to me, he never swung a hammer.
No. He had a great cover letter, great resume. He was perfect. I was like, wait a minute.
He asked for too much money,
Yeah.
so we're like, you're hired.
Takes notes every day. It was awesome.
But I mean, we like bringing, you know, we love bringing people along and helping them out too. So
Yeah.
And I guess in closing, last question, you guys have all successfully made the pivot to owning your own businesses, which is no easy feat under normal circumstances, but mid-pandemic, it's a whole nother story. And, you know, there are people out there who are still thinking about going into business, if not now, sometime in the future when things normalize. And to those people, whether they're, you know, new design professionals who are just getting started, or, you know, perhaps more established experts who are thinking about going out on their own, what would your advice be for them? Nick, I'll have you take this one first.
Yeah, I probably answered that in the last one, but I mean, I'd say try to lean on people, try to learn from people more experienced, and don't be scared. Kind of reach out to whoever you need to get it moving, and it'll work out for you. Good luck. You got to make a jump at some point if you're not happy where you work and you want to do it yourself. It's possible. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Meg, what would you like to say?
I think about this a lot. I would say something I thought I did well was I said yes to everything in terms of any potential client. If it was just, I need a paint color for my dining room, and that was it, I said yes. I showed up and I did a really good job finding one paint color. Because all of the times you say yes at the beginning, that person could have loved that one paint color and told 3 friends, and those friends could call you. So I think at the beginning, it doesn't last forever. Say yes to things that you really might not even want to do to get your foot into people's homes, and do a good job at those little things.
Absolutely. Derek and Lisa, bring us home.
I agree with that. I mean, there was things that we took on in the beginning that, you know, we wouldn't, I shouldn't say we wouldn't do now, but we would, you know, hope we'd probably shy away from. And we were kind of building a portfolio, and sometimes I was probably overdoing things, especially for the budget. And I kept, you know, saying to Lisa, this is going to build up a portfolio. Don't worry, see this. And we're going to get this out there. And she did a good job of just, okay, and taking the pictures of the stuff that we produced and that we probably paid for some stuff in some people's homes, but she took the pictures and ran with it. And now, you know, now the phone's ringing off the hook, and it becomes worth it in the end. And like Nicholas said, just take the leap, do it. Lean on people, admit that you don't know things, and the minute you don't know something, call someone who does, and just figure it out.
Totally agree. And for me, I took the kind of the long road. I mean, I spent almost 20 years in a different field entirely before I really kind of jumped all in. And I would just say, go all in with no doubt and no lack of conviction. Like, you just have to go and do it and try. And that's the only way you're going to really to get anything done. You know, going with one foot in and the other one out, like, you're not going to get the momentum that you need to be where you want to be, or you'll spend a really long time trying to get there. So don't doubt it. If you feel it, just go for it. I'm a firm believer that the universe starts lining up for you once you start committing to exactly what you want, and things start to fall into place. So don't doubt yourself when you feel the calling.
And
I love that.
Just get organized, and think about the business aspect. And if you're not either one of those two, just find someone that can kind of help you do and just keep you, you know, so you can do what you do good and what you're strong at, and they can do that.
I love that. That's great advice from all of you. Thank you. And again, congratulations to all of you. Your portfolios speak for themselves. For viewers at home, if you haven't checked them out, please immediately go to all 3 of these websites and take a look at the amazing work that these people are doing. You won't regret it. And to all of you, thank you again so much for being here today to share your insight and wisdom. Thanks to everyone at home for tuning in. It's been so nice to share this time with you. And also thanks to our partners at the Boston Design Center for including us in this awesome lineup of events. So thanks again to everyone. Stay safe and hope to see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.